Welcome back everyone to the Galactic Underground. I am Jason, and today, I don't know about you guys, but I'm like kind of sick and tired of like really dry, boring, do it yourself, how to do this and that cosplay builds. No offense to anybody else that does that, but I know that a lot of my content has been super dry and boring. And with the attention span of people on YouTube nowadays, I decided to make it super quick. So this is what we're going to do. This particular helmet is my latest Mando helmet that I made for Grand Rapids Comic Con and the fall version of Motor City Comic Con. I really love the color scheme of this particular armor. So I decided that I'm going to go back, right, to my other set of armor I made for last May's Comic Con. And I scrapped pretty much all of the armor, to be completely honest. And then the helmet was the only thing that I really have left. So I made 2 different breastplates and 2 different shoulder armors for my new current cosplay. I can't decide which one I like best. So what I decided to do is repurpose this particular Mando concept helmet and paint it the same color scheme as this one so that I could wear it and have 2 different Mando cosplays. So this particular video that we're doing right now is just going to show you how to repaint something once it's already been painted. And there's a reason why I say this, because most people would think you can just spray over it. Don't do that, because it will react and it gets terrible. That's because of like the oils from your skin, which is why I have gloves on, and things like that. It's really super fast on how to do this, to be completely honest. All you have to do is take a scotchy pad, which is this. You can get this at any, hardware store, grocery store, actually, even the dollar store, guys. And just lightly just sand over it just to scuff the paint up, just like this. I mean, you don't even really have to apply a lot of pressure. You're just, essentially what you're doing is you're giving it a surface for the new paint to adhere to, and then you're going to wipe it down. I like to use a product called Prepsol. It's what they actually use when they paint cars and stuff to wipe off the oils. The other thing is I like to use this color shot. You can get that at any local craft store. You can even get it on Amazon. Actually, I'll put some links in the bio down here so that you can go and buy some yourself if you'd like. They have every color under the sun. But the taping it off is going to be the most important part. Now, this particular helmet was designed to have the visor be able to be pulled out, but I'm not going to lie to you guys, I kind of fell behind, and my con crunch was like the worst kind last May, and it was my helmet. Of all things, that should have been the first thing that I built. But the helmet, the last hour of Comic-Con, I finished it. So instead of printing the clips that go on the inside and installing them, I actually just glued the visor in. In hindsight, it was kind of stupid, right? So that's why we do cosplans and things like that. Anyways, so the cool thing is there's actually an edge on the inside because it is made to be sleeved in. So I'm going to be using this Scotch Blue. I love this tape. It doesn't like bleed through and things like that very much. So I can slide it in there and actually cover most of the visor. So it should be fine. But really the only thing you got to do to repurpose a helmet or armor is just scotchy it down, wipe it off real good, clean it, and then tape it off and then spray it. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And then I'm going to show you guys the end result. Thanks. All right, so I'm done scuffing it up with the scotchy pad. It is super important, guys, that you make sure that you get all of the shiny parts of whatever it is that you're going to scuff up and repaint. Because if you don't, the paint will react. It'll like cobweb. And sometimes it's cool because you can use those areas to make damage marks and things like that. If that happens with this particular helmet when I do it, when I go to paint it, I'm just probably going to leave it. But I'm also going to tell you guys how to fix it if you want to, right? So I went through this and I looked at every little piece of it and every little part, and it looks like it's going to be ready for paint. I wiped it down with some Prepsol, and as you can notice, I'm wearing gloves, and I'm wearing the gloves so that my fingerprints and oils don't get onto the helmet itself before I paint it. So as you can see here too, on the actual parts that I taped off, so all of it is going to go black, right? And then this little visor piece right here is taped off so that the visor is saved. I also taped off the visor on the inside because you're going to want to spray around here too. But most importantly, the tape that goes on the parts that are going to be bronze are also taped separate from the visor. So once this is all done and in black, I'm going to go through and peel off just these plates right here and paint these parts right here bronze. I can't even talk today, guys. Like, what the hell? Anyways, and then I'm going to tape off the rest of the helmet, and then I'll spray just the bronze, so it'll give it that kind of like, that definition that I'm looking for, because the visor itself is black. So let's go ahead and get this in the black paint, and then I'll see you guys when it's done. Oh my God, guys, this turned out actually really super good. I was worried. I hit it real good with the scotchy pad, but this helmet's been sitting around for like almost like 8 months, maybe 7 months. And I was afraid that like maybe the prep saw, I didn't get enough on it to stop it from cobwebbing or spider webbing, as some people call it. But anyways, as you can see, it's a satin black, and then I'm going to do the bronze where this red is. I already took tape off, you know, that way you guys don't have to watch boring peeling tape. But anyways, I use scalpels to do stuff like that, just so you guys know. It's easier to peel into it without like gouging the print or gouging the paint. So that's what I use. You can get these on Amazon fairly cheap. That's where I got mine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tape off the rest of the helmet so that I can paint this with the bronze, this red area. I was going to accent different pieces, but I really don't know if I'm going to. And if I do, I'm going to go in by hand and do it. And I'll show you guys if I decide to do that. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape the rest of this helmet off, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like, because I have a really cool trick that you guys can do, and then I'll explain that to you once I have it all taped off, okay? Well, guys, here it is. Definitely doesn't look pretty, but actually the grocery bag trick on any of your cosplay stuff that you're doing will minimize the amount of tape that you use. But also, most importantly, it's less like contact with the paint that you've already laid down, so less likely a chance of ripping some of the paint off. So, so what I like to do is I literally just tape the lines where I need to be, and then I tape the bag to it and wrap it around, especially with helmets, and then it looks something like this. Super, super easy to do. This is the only part that's getting painted. So it's the only part that has to be exposed. And obviously, the visor is still taped. It hasn't been pulled off yet. So I'm going to go ahead and get this in the bronze paint, and then we'll see what it looks like when it's done, guys. Thanks. All right, guys. So I'm actually kind of shocked, to be honest. I didn't think that this helmet would turn out as good as it did. There were some minor areas that I needed to touch up, and I'll go over them in just a second with you guys. But this is the result of the repaint of the helmet build from Comic-Con in May of 2023 at Motor City. So obviously the tape lines were a little weird. You know, I got a little lazy there toward the end. But I have a super cool trick to show you really fast to fix that. And I already did it for you guys so that you guys don't have to be bored watching it. But anyways, what I do is I get these little glass containers from the dollar store for $1. Sometimes you can even get them 2 for $1. But anyways, I use the spray paint that I use to actually paint the helmet itself. And I just spray it into it, and then I use a tiny little paintbrush that you can also get at the dollar store. I don't necessarily recommend you getting them at the dollar store, though. You can go to your arts and crafts store. You usually get a big bag of them for really cheap. Only because the bristles are a little softer from the art supply store or craft store. But anyways, you just dip it in there, and then you just can touch it up, and actually it'll match perfect every time. So you guys don't have to try to find like hobby paint that matches. It'll never match, just so you know. No matter even if the color code is the same, it will never match. So just trust me, buy a glass thing. Why glass? Because it's just better in the end. You know, none of the paint residue and the chemicals in the paint isn't going to break down the plastic. It's not going to get into the helmet. But anyways, enough of the scientific boring stuff. This is the outcome. I think it turned out pretty good. I did have to touch up some of the black around here where, like I said, where I got lazy, but not too shabby for a paint job. Also, guys, don't try to repaint your helmet more than once, maybe twice at the most, because building the paint up over time, it'll actually start to cause it to react and chip away and things like that. So, and we don't really want that. But in this particular case, it turned out pretty good. And I just wanted to say thanks for all of your guys' support. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment in the section with a build that you guys would like to see.